Samuel, I want to thank you for that. I think you've really laid the rules and how we're going to take it this morning. The entire community of power, let me say so, was in shambles before now, and we having a light in the tunnel with the current administration from both the or at the federal level, because it was an exclusive list. And when you started, you talked about how expensive power is. Even in creating a power plant, you have a rule of thumb of developing 1 megawatt, for $1 million, so it's as expensive as that, So we want to thank the current administration, President Tinubu, who has come up, take the bulls by the horn, and has actually unbundled that industry, So we are bound to see a whole lot. As I'm speaking to you, there is a presidential meeting ongoing, or it's going to happen today. I'm not so sure of the time, with the governors and of course with the regulators, to further explain what is expected with the act that has just been signed. So coming from the topmost level, and once that is done, and of course once you have policies in place, there got to be some level of white paper, developed. There got to be legislative directive. There got to be a bill, signed within your own community, and our own community here is Akwa Ibom State. So a company has to be formed, which we have already, and we had a license, Ibom Utility Company. That is the company with time that will take over from PHCDC, okay. Which is the distribution arm of government in the area of power. So that cascading down to Akwa Ibom State. So how do we play in this field of power when it comes down here? First of all, I also want to state that a lot of powers, power now is a lot of confidence have been imposed on the new company that will be formed, or that is formed, or that is to take over from PHCDC, to say you have to distribute, you have to take care of the metering, you have to take care of the infrastructures and all of that. Everything is within that purview. So when once, like today, the discussion will rally around NEC. NEC is actually the regulators, okay. And then how many commissioners, where are the commissioners going to come from, what level of experience should those commissioners possess, and then you have the board of directors of this utility company, what are the qualifications for those, and then once that is being formed, Akwa Ibom State will take that particular lead, because we were the first in the country that developed or got that license, to actually. And there's a difference between what we got that time and what His Excellency the President has approved. The other one was for you to develop your new areas, of interest, okay. To supply power where there were no power. You have the right now to go supply those areas power. But currently, with this new one, there will be a lot of negotiations with PHCDC, to go along with us and then finally hand over to the new company. So we will be in charge of our own power.
Wow, so much a prospect that you've explained. But let's still look at power as a whole. Let's look at power as a whole. Let's look at the stop gaps, generation, transmission, and distribution. How ready is Akwa Ibom State to commence all of these processes with the Ibom a utility company.
Yeah, when you talk about
but that's to say that, you know, conscious of the fact that in the interim we still have government fund power heavily. We get to see governments replace faulty transformers. We get to see government replace faulty transmission lines and all of that. So at what point is this going to be a privatized outfit, or this is government coming back into the business of power wholesale?
Well, the utility company is a limited liability company, you know, so it's with time will have to stand alone and do its own business and then report profit to the government, you know, because that's why the board will be there to regulate. That is why there will be a managing director. That's why it will be run by professionals, you know. Okay. So this is one thing that will happen. And then if I want to take, let me take from generation. How ready are we, you know? And when it comes to generation, it has to do with Ibom Power. A lot of people have been mixing it up. Ibom Power, because of Ibom Power, we don't have light in Akwa Ibom State and all of that. That is not completely true, because we have not ring-fenced the power we produce in Ibom Power to supply to Akwa Ibom State. But for this project, for the project of when a utility company will come to pass, will come to bear, you know, that is the plan, you know, that the power that is coming out of Ibom Power will be ring fenced. For example, currently we should be producing about 153 megawatts of power. So once that is produced, and then if Akwa Ibom needs 100 megawatts, we will drop 100 megawatts in Akwa Ibom and then still put 53 megawatts or the remaining into the national grid. You know, so we still need to have that play. But how ready are we? You know, we, as I said, we're producing 153. Currently, we are quite low because we have only one turbine running. The other one is undergoing repairs because we had a serious problem, and then we are importing the part, and it's coming. So within a week or two, we should be up and running on that, and then we will go back to our 153. There's one turbine that is down since 2012. I told you it's a major issue when it comes to maintenance of part in power sector. You know, so that again, we are talking with investors to come in, and very soon His Excellency Pastor Moino is going to deal with that. And talking about readiness, and that is why he came for the station. A lot of people have misconstrued like Ibom Power is supposed to be audited. Yeah, Ibom Power is overdue for an audit, and it is a technical audit. No technical company survives without technical audit. Technical audit is to give you or expose the stop gaps, you know, expose the gaps that that has been in the system. Why are you not producing at maximum? These are the issues. And if it is something that needs money, you know, something that needs personnel, something that needs training of the personnel, you know, so all of those, there's of course a checklist that will be used, you know, to be able to get that right. Then you go to transmission. TCN is still in charge of the transmission. So yeah, the play here, the difference here in the industry is mostly on distribution, you know, which the utility company will now come in, okay, you know, to play with PHEDC. So that's the 3 tiers of power.
Okay, so
sector.
Okay, so still on that sector, so you've quite agreed that from your last explanation that the speculation about the Ibom Power plant's declining generation capacity is true. But now, you said one turbine is functioning. We know there are 3. The other, you've told us they're trying to get it fixed to function optimally, so we could get back to the 150 plus capacity, megawatt capacity.
Yeah.
Then the one you said has been down since 2012. There was a time when we had stories about a power plant, a turbine being cannibalized. for another to be up, and all of that. And here you're talking about the cost, the cost intensive nature of getting these turbines up. Looking at when these plants were built and when it commenced operation, can you rightly say that it has been able to at least scratch any close return on that investment to require more funding that it is calling for at the moment?
Okay. Yeah. Before I go into that, let me really step down and explain the low production nature of Ibom Power currently is not responsible for Akwa Ibom State not having power within that 1st of June to 5th of June, and then we had another one at 28th of June to about 3rd of July. You know, that was not from Akwa Ibom, from Ibom Power at all. You know, the Akwa Ibom State people need to know that there was an ugly incident that happened with Aba Itu line. You know, Aba Itu line collapse. You know, that infrastructure has been very epileptic. You know, it's gone down, and we had to call in TCN, you know, to fix it. You know, another one happened at the Afagobe end, where you have the rainstorm, you know, wind, you know, that brought down a tree on the lines. You know, that again is the responsibility of both PHEDC and TCN. So they were trying to blame themselves within, oh, it's your responsibility, it's not your responsibility, and all of that. That actually caused the blackout in Akwa Ibom State, not Ibom Power. Okay. You know, so because we produce, even when we are on 100% production capacity, we put it on the national grid. Wherever it goes, it's not our responsibility. You know, but with the current issue now, you know, with the Ibom Utility Company, we will ring fence. You remember, this actually came from the vision of His Excellency Udom Emmanuel, the former governor. You know, when number one, we were not being paid. You know, Ibom Power will sell power, and we are not getting the returns on investments. And then, secondly, the industrialization vision was not enabled because of lack of power. You know, so he came up with this idea, and then we sat down together and we gave it a name. You know, Power for All. That's how the issue of Power for All came. Number one was to give us more money. Number two was to bring more power to Akwa Ibom State, and of course that design, you know, to ring fence power for Akwa Ibom State is there. You know, so it's what we will have to take on now.
Okay, so looking at the moment, are we able to produce up to the 150 plus megawatts?
No, that's what I was saying, that in a week or two we should be able to do that. And again, I must thank His Excellency Pastor Moino, you know, for the visit. Apart from the technical audit that he has approved, you know, we equally will have to, he has promised to give us money for the reconductoring of that Aba Itu line, because it's something that is going to happen again, and Akwa Ibom State will be thrown into darkness, and it's not in our purview at all to be able to fix that. So TCN is requesting for some fund. They were looking for funds all over, you know, to be able to fix that. For years we've been on it, and they said, oh, we have the material, we have the equipment, but we don't have money to. And then His Excellency has actually stepped in to intervene. They asked us, come up with a model and an agreement or MOU, you know, that the money Akwa Ibom State is going to put in there will be refunded, and how will it be refunded. So that's what we are working on now.
Okay, when we're considering a system that is already heavily indebted to the states, a system where power generated is not paid for, one would only imagine if the federal government would ever want to reimburse the state on this other investment on the power lines. But before,
no, they will, because there is an act of paybacks on what is called wheeling charge. So when one's power is being wheeled on the lines, that's even where TCN makes money. So it's for us to have an agreement that when this power is being wheeled from Akwa Ibom State, into the national grid, so they are going to come with fees from there to pay us back.
Okay, looking away from that, let's probe the managerial structure of PHEDC. It's understood that Ibom Power contributes a chunk of power generated to keep the PHEDC running. This is born out of this question is born out of the need to see that some good measure of local content and indigenization is considered in the Ibom Utility Company. When we saw Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company come on, and that the partnership Akwa Ibom State government had with it, it was expected that we would have Akwa Ibom people hold good managerial positions on its board and its operation. But months after that, we were greeted by that advocacy that Akwa Ibom people were barely involved in its operation. How did that happen despite Akwa Ibom's huge investment in its operation?
Yeah, I won't be able to speak to that completely, but you are very right. It's what we saw, is what we tried to advocate against, and then we met some stiff reactions, from the management or from the top level of PHEDC, and which is why we forge ahead with Ibom Utility Company. So with this now, and we won't have any reason to complain. That's actually, you are 100% right. It's something that personally, I wasn't happy about, and we pushed, to an extent, not only I, the board and management of Ibom Power, we pushed, to see whether we'll be able to get some traction in terms of increasing Akwa Ibom State citizens, to PHEDC, and it wasn't welcome, So they will bring in issues of professionalism, efficiency, and all of that. They cannot afford to, but we won't believe that. We have a lot of indigents that are qualified in the industry, and you will see how we are going to perform in the utility company, because all of where our citizens are, they're going to come back to make sure that Ibom Utility Company works. So that will be addressed rightly with Ibom Utility Company.
Okay, but power doesn't seem to me like a learn on the job endeavor. So how well is the state preparing for even the smooth takeoff of this Ibom Utility Company? Our engineers and electrical hands sent for trainings, and how are we harvesting those people to ensure that this company kickstarts on a smooth note?
No, you will find, or you will see at the end, that it's actually more it's hands-on experience, to be honest with you, and our citizens are, let me use the word, are represented in most of the companies all over the country. So I see a lot of traction. I see a lot of people coming back to take their rightful places in the Ibom Utility Company. And of course, His Excellency Pastor Moino has his own way of going to recruit those people to be able to be optimum in the industry.
Okay, so let's talk about the governor's recent visit to Ibom Power Plant. What gains does that visit hold? We've seen quite a number of times state chief executive visit, make such visits, and it ends with their exit from the facility. What are the low-hanging fruits from that visit, and what should Akwa Ibom people expect from that visit in the coming days?
Yeah, I must thank His Excellency Pastor Moino, because for me it's a major focus, that you want to develop industries, you want to develop SMEs. You know, SMEs is one of the, let me say, community that if you want to really develop, power must be cheap. You know, power must be available. You know, there must be quality power available as well. So for him to choose Ibom Power to come in to visit, to have hands-on, to have a first-time appreciation of how Ibom Power is faring, it's very important to us, you know. And of course, you know, when he came, we were in the also in that euphoria that Ibom Power has been, the board of directors have been dissolved, you know. So he stood there to say, oh, you guys have to go back, you know, for a while and then help, you know, to fix it. And of course, we don't have any other option than to step up, you know. So that again brought a lot of confidence in the sector. I just came back from chairman's meeting, you know, where we are driving for funds, you know, because the federal government is owing us a lot of money, you know, and recently you will hear that Ibom Power staff were being owed salaries, which His Excellency, part of what we gained from that visit, His Excellency actually promised to pay all of these salaries, you know, to the employees, you know. So so a lot of staff are with the steam, you know, to get back to work, you know, and all of that. It wasn't like they were stopped. There at least some people were rotating, you know. You come today, you don't come tomorrow. The technical staff, 100% were reporting for their duties, you know. So that is one gain. Number two, we had he looked around and said, I've not seen any woman engineer here, you know. So he recommended that two be employed immediately, you know, at least to bring in some gender balance into the sphere. And then we talked about the reconductoring of that Aba Itu Road. What is happening to Akwa Ibom State is that line. It goes off, the trees falls on it, you know, the poplars goes down, the cabling, you know, the infrastructure there are quite old, you know. So for you to be able to give a new life into that system, you know, we need some certain fund which he has agreed to put in, you know. And he talked about training. You know, he had given an ultimatum that in the next 1 year he needs a much level of training where Akwa Ibom indigents will be in the forefront, you know, to take over the running of the plants, you know. So that we have taken in as a board, and we are going to work out modalities. And then we, of course, there were the gas issues, which we have what is called legacy gas issues and all of that. So we're going to sit with the gas company, Savannah Energy. We're going to sit with the ministry, and it brought another level of bonding where he gave the confidence that Minister of Power, you know, the management of Ibom Power Company, and then the board should work together, you know, to make sure that things flow. So that energized the company, and then you're going to see a lot of productivity and a good working relationship.
Okay, then just before, at the twilight of the last administration, we saw the immediate past governor flag off a power project at Temekpo local government area, which was intended to serve the people of Ukanafun, clusters of Vika, Rowanam, and Abak local government area. What's the state of that facility?
Yeah, that is almost completed. Some lines are being tested. I'm sure in the next 2-3 months that should be up and running. It's almost done. It's another major infrastructure that is going to help the Ika Temekpo, you know, axis, you know, to bring up lights. And of course, when we are talking about industrialization, those are the kind of infrastructure that you need, you know, and His Excellency Pastor Moino is looking at industrial hubs, you know, and SMEs in the rural areas, you know, encouraging infrastructure or power infrastructure in the rural areas. So that is going to help a whole lot in that particular North community, that particular region, let me say so.
Okay, so how will this help the terrible power situation in Abak? It's no longer news that it looks like Abak comes most disadvantaged in power supply in the state. Sometimes, most times, people want to blame that on vandalism, and at other times, there are no supply at all. What's the company doing to see that that is addressed, looking at the proximity with the state campus of the state university and a couple of other establishments that require power?
Yeah, no, that is going to help. You know, for me, it's well, once you have such major power facility, then a concession effort will be put in place to make sure that you have, how would I say, you have a follow through. You know, what is happening in Abak is that you have the 132 coming and then step down to 11. You know. And some facilities are running with 33. So 33 is up and running, and most people were connected initially to 11, and that is why you're having that disparity. That 11 is not giving power, where 33 is running. So some houses have a lot better, you know, illumination than, you know, that of 11. So you could see the substation at that Abak Junction, you know, that was developed by federal government some years back. You know, that was supposed to bring Abak into 11 kVA, you know, completely, and it wasn't done. You know, so the old 33 are even the ones that are working now. So with the new substation at Etimekbo, you know, the utility company will decide, you know, to either play on complete 33, which is recommended, you know, so transformers will be changed, you know, the one with 11 discharge, you know, will maybe change too. And we did a comprehensive audit of that sometime, you know, to know that it is not difficult to just change those transformers to 33, and that will help us.
Interesting. Okay, my guest is Engineer A.T. Doyang. He is chairman on the board of Ibom Power Company. It's still Centerpoint M45. Remember, you can be part of what we're doing here if you're following and liking our page on Facebook at AKBC Radio and TV. Okay, so as we begin to wind down, Engineer A.T. Doyang, you were recently in the news. We saw a publication that credited you as being interested in the MD Ibom Power Company position, and that publication came took the tone of a conflict between you and some hands and faces in the power sector angling for this position. Do you want to be MD Ibom Power Company?
Samuel, will you believe that? No, let me say, if you are chairman of a local government and the next election you want to be a councillor, will you do that? You know, so I'm for explanation to Akwa Ibom people. You know my integrity. You know, I have a lot to protect when it comes to that. You know, I was shocked, you know, to see that in the papers, you know, and then going back to check the last we had, even when we left, we had a validatory session, you know, which was with the board and the management, you know, and then there was nothing. We had a good working relationship. So we are, you know, because it's not about me alone. If and a chairman of a board who want to descend to the level of going to be the MD, the board of directors will ask and said, are you okay? You know, so I have worked as a special advisor on technical matters in the same administration, working with commissioners and all of that. Everybody, wanted to work with me because there were no issues. I have a very good working relationship with people. Wherever I am, I try to increase the value and all that, and have a good working relationship. So I want people to discountenance that, and tell whoever is afraid that it's not in my character, it's not in my vision, it's not what I'm aspiring for. I will not come down from the chairman of a company to become the MD of a company, or that same company.
Okay, so on a final note, let's depart from power and have you talk about Governor Umoino in the last a little above 1 month. How far so far?
Yeah, he's done extremely very well. It goes to show that His Excellency Pastor Umoino actually had a vision to be a governor of the state. Some people are given this opportunity. You see some states, they don't even know. They are the ones even admiring him and said, man, you've started well, a fellow governor, So for what he has done, I want to tell him thank you. For the team that are propelling, working with him, I want to say thank you. Akwa Ibom State it stands to gain, and you could believe that when you believe in somebody and said, yes, this man is going to do well, and he's starting well, of course, all of us that saw the vision, stood with him, will be very happy, and we are very happy. I want to say that for what he is doing, the first-hand intervention, going to those companies to see what is happening and proffering solution, and when you listen to him, you know that this man, he knows what he's doing. He's not just standing back. Even in a technical discourse, he comes in, to really tell you what he's expecting. And of course, when you sit back, you realize that is going to take you. And then for the SMEs, what he's doing, and the empowerment that he has started, with the people, and where he needs enforcement, that is enforcing, to make sure that the environment is okay, that is equally going on. So for me, and the mind-blowing, which no politician has ever thought about it before, and it comes with this major strike, to say, give me 1 PA per ward, it's unprecedented. It's something that has never happened before. And of course, currently, you see people are going back to their grassroots. People are interested in politics again. People are refreshing their minds. Next time, what am I going to do? I'm going to be strategic about supporting PDP. So it's a major plus for not only him, but for the entire PDP family. And of course, other parties are so happy about it. It's a welcome development. So other things that are coming, he thanked the party, and that was timely enough, for somebody that thought that. And today he's going to Ikare Bene, to do a thank you visit. So for me, it's a man that has been put together. It's a man that has his program. The Arise agenda is something that he slept, woke up, and is walking the talk.
Wow, thank you, Engineer Tido Ian. Quite sure, just love your parting lines. The Arise agenda is a program that he's putting together, and he's walking the talk. Okay, thank you so very much for coming on Centerpoint M45. We trust that when next we have need of you, as always, you'll always avail us your presence. We do not take that for granted, but we really wish and look forward to power attending greater and better fortunes. I'm sure that would in ways and few serve the citizenry. Thank you for coming on Centerpoint M45.
Thank you.
Okay, viewer, Centerpoint M45 continues after this short break. Don't go away.
I need the police that can respond to emergencies fast.
I want the equipment I need to do my job.
I want a police that won't harass or arrest me for no just reason.
I want to be valued for my work, not feared by honest people.
I want a police that won't ask me anything for the boys.
I want a decent salary that is paid on time.
If it happen with good laws,
Proper funding,
Training.
and cooperation, if it happen,
If it happens.
if it happen.
Do you know that you have the right to quality broadcasting? The National Broadcasting Commission says any person, group of persons, or organization aggrieved by the content of a broadcast or the conduct of a broadcast station may lodge a complaint to the station and write to the Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, number 20, Ibrahim Taiwo Street, Asokoro, Abuja, or send a mail via info@nbc.gov.ng. Please ensure that your complaint includes name of the broadcast station, title of the program, date and time of broadcast, and essence of the complaint. Also remember to include your name, address, telephone number, email, and append your signature. Note that your complaint must reach the NBC within 14 days of the queried broadcast. NBC, your right to quality broadcasting.
It's still Center Point AM for 5. Many thanks for staying with us on the program. Today in Focus, we're looking at the Arise agenda. So far, over 40 days in office of the Pastor Umoino-led administration. What is your impression? Perhaps you'd love to be on the hot seat here one of these days to talk about your impression so far, or you will be on the lookout for our reporters who are in every corner of this state, sampling some opinions here and there. Perhaps we will be in your domain and then you have that opportunity to talk. But for today, we have someone who is on the hot seat. He is the International Vice President 2 of the Mbong Parawa Bibu at Parawa, Jemima Isin. Thank you so very much for joining us on the program.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Good morning, viewers.
Okay, so like I've already mentioned, over 40 days of Pastor Umoino's administration, over 40 days of the Arise agenda. What is your impression so far?
Yeah, thank you once again. The first 40 days of His Excellency Pastor Umoino has been a very successful one, in my opinion.
Okay.
And I thought he's done very well, looking at the things that he's done. Looking at the Arise agenda, he has actually started dotting, putting the connecting point. And a few areas I would like to look at, actually reaching out to the common, people. I'm aware, and I think I witnessed one of them, that when he stopped by the Mayflower, where you have the women, selling their stuff.
Okay.
I'm also aware that he stopped by Itreto Junction, where you have, the women selling, some foodstuff, banana, peanut, and all those stuff. And I'm also aware that he stopped by the Ekwonokum Junction, to buy, some of the goods that those women are selling. And he did not just stop there, he empowered them. For me, he has actually touched the Arise agenda point of empowering, people, and especially the women. So in that area, it's done well. I am aware of the unscheduled visit that he paid to some of the sites, like the Dakada Estate and some other places, to see things for himself. So it's not just like the governor who would sit in his office, to get report, from his staff, but he's actually, someone is hands-on, to go on the ground to see things for himself. I'm aware of the things that he's done, including the construction of roads around the Burapan and them. I think I had an opportunity one of those times that I came from the UK to visit Nigeria. I wanted to buy, this bit, to go back. That was the only time that I was able to pass through the Ndiya Street. I couldn't believe that a street like that in New Metropolis, so dirty, it was disgusting. But for our governor to go there and say, look, we're going to clear that mess and reconstruct that place, I was really impressed. And work is ongoing as we speak. So it's done well. Do I talk about the areas of primary school teachers, the annual leave, stuff that he has made money available for the areas of the annual leave grant, to be paid? Or do I talk about the gratuity that he has promised is going to make money available, for the gratuity of, civil servant to be paid? What else? Is it the Bank of Industry or Agriculture or something like that, to come to Akwa Ibom State, giving the Dakada the tower, giving them the office there? What else do we? For me, I think our governor has not only hit the ground running, I think it's been racing. It looks like someone who was really looking for an opportunity, to manage the affairs of Akwa Ibom State. So he's done well.
Okay, he's done well. Okay, now you've mentioned, you first of all mentioned his humane disposition. Yeah. What lesson can Akwa Ibom people, leaders, followers, supporters, what lessons are there to be learned in, what he has done so far towards humanity? I
think the lessons is that this man, His Excellency Pastor Moeno, means well for Akwa Ibom State. The lesson is that this man is prepared. He did not just come in. He's prepared. And all we need to do is to support him, because it is clear that it means well for the state. It's not just about, the big people, like when he went to Abuja to congratulate Akpabio. He was there. When Akpabio organized the Thanksgiving service, he was there with the entire, administration, the deputy governor and everyone. They were there to support. So basically what it means that he has demonstrated to Akwa Ibom, it doesn't matter which party that you belong. This is Akwa Ibom. Politics is over. It's now time for governance. And therefore, whether you are PDP, whether you're in party A, party B, it does not matter. This is the time to now do your best to develop Akwa Ibom. So he's happy to work with everyone. So for me, I've looked at him and said, you know what? Some of the guys from my community who did not support him. So if Pastor Moeno has reached out to Akpabio, has reached out to even China, I heard that China paid a visit to him. If our governor, visited Tinubu, then so why wouldn't I reach out to my brothers and sisters in my community who were of other parties? You can accuse me here of being biased, but you can't really, because I supported him, because I believed in him. So if I believe in him, then I should do exactly what he does. And therefore, to reach out to other members of my community to say, you know what, this is governance, this is time, to develop our community. Forget about parties. Let's work together as a team.
Okay. I know you to be an entrepreneur, someone who owns a business.
Yes.
Okay. Now, the governor talks a lot about, why people should be prepared to do one or two things, with their own hands, for him to be able to support them. What benefit will, his stance, his disposition, what he has done so far, reaching out to these women, what benefit is this to businesses? And then how prepared should Akwa Ibom people be for any opportunity that will avail itself through this administration?
Looking at the Arise agenda, if I'm not a spokesman for the government, I wasn't there when this Arise, but I know the Arise agenda is about agriculture, about infrastructure, about rural development, it's about security, it's about the economy. Now, talking about the things that he has done in terms of stopping by to support the women, it's about economic empowerment. That's what it means. For me, as an individual, you know very well, Nancy, that I lived and worked in the UK for over 20 years. One of the reasons why I am here today is because of Pastor Omoino. Because I've known him from the late 90s. And those people did not know this man before now. They thought, oh yeah, he's doing some of the things that he's doing now, looking so humble because he won't. No, Omoino has always been a very humble person. In the late 90s, as late as 1998, 99, when I was in Eket, working there as a civil servant.
Oh.
Yes, I graduated and I was just starting work there. And I was a road tractor.
Okay.
I was the president of Road Track Club of Eket.
Okay.
And we had the opportunity to fellowship with Rotary Club of Eket. At Omoino, the Royalty Hotel used to be the venue, or say the venue of Rotary Club meetings.
Okay.
So as a young man that just graduated and I was working in Eket, to have the opportunity to be there, to see this man, I remember very well that I had a bottle of Coke in front of me during the Rotary meeting, and it spilled. And this man jumped. I didn't know him. He's the owner of the hotel. Jumped from his seat where he was sitting to come and clean up the mess. Before he could even call, before the cleaners could notice him coming, he was already there, apologizing to me. I was like, it was after that I was told that he's the owner of the hotel. That's the kind of person we are talking about today. So for me, when I heard that he's contesting to be the governor of Akwa Ibom State, mercy, I came from UK. This is the longest period I have settled in Nigeria, since December, because I wanted to come down to support this man. And I said, you know what? I saw when he started in Eket with his Royalty Hotel, and for him to maintain the standard and even expanding and then taking it to higher height, I said, you know what? I heard he was in Lagos. So he came back and he did this. Looking at the number of people that he has empowered, he has employed in his company. So what can I do? I said, you know what? I'm here. One, to stay and support him to succeed. And I did that. And what next? What can I do in terms of creating employment opportunity? Okay, I'm from the medical field. What can I do? I've set up a pharmacy.
Okay.
I've employed people. So for me, I am copying Omoino. He came from Lagos. I came from the UK. I'm settled here. I've set up a business. Now I'm aware of, when he talked about the happy hour stuff, I was like, wow, what can I do myself? How can I key into this happy hour stuff? So for me, that is...
For you, what did that mean?
That's a good question. Happy hour. When the slogan came up, people tried to bring the negative side of, oh, it's about going to drink and going to have fun and that's it. There's nothing wrong having fun. But happy hour is not just about going to sit out, going to pub, going to drinking parlor to have a drink. No, it's not about that. It's about creating that moment where you reflect, where you relax, where you contemplate, where you meditate, where you review your activities for the week. It's a Friday. You're going to weekend. So what do? You relax. You don't need to drink. I've not been drinking for quite a long time, So it's not about drinking. It's about relaxation. It's about making yourself happy. Thinking of those happy moments in your life. Reflecting on them. Thinking of what you can do to make your life better. The mistakes you've done, the things that you can improve upon. You don't need to go to a pub to drink. That's why in our pharmacy, I'm not going to advertise my place. I'm not going to tell you where it is, but somewhere along Oka Road, we have a pharmacy. With my partners, we put that up. And we said, how can we key into this government policy? Because I take it as a policy where every weekend, after Monday to Friday work, relax. You don't only have to relax in a pub. You can relax at home with your family. Okay. You can create a time with your family to say, this is happy moment. What have we done for the week? What have we done well? What have we not done well? Focus on the things that you've done well and enjoy that moment. I recommend to the churches, why don't you create happy hour even in the church where you sing and dance for a few minutes?
Okay.
For family, call the family meeting, sit down and reflect and be happy. Think of the good things that you've done for that period. So for us in the from the health sector, I felt, we can create a happy hour in our pharmacy every Friday. Not just 1 hour, 2 hours, between 4 to 6 p.m. Come in. As you have finished work for the week, come and check your vital signs.
Okay.
Check your blood pressure for free. Check your blood sugar. Check your HIV status. As you're going out to enjoy yourself, what is your health status? On top of that, take 10% discount of any drug that you want to buy during that period. For me, I just felt that is my own way. That's my company's way of keying into this happy hour, opportunity, and then make the best use of it. Okay. So as you're going home to enjoy, then you know that you are in a good, health standing as you're going to drink or enjoy yourself for that weekend.
Okay, so when next you see Akparawa Jimaima, whether at the Mbo complex or wherever, ask him where his pharmacist is located so you can go enjoy that happy hour. If he needs the AKBC to tell you where it is, we'll gladly do so. We are on hand to do so. All right. That's a good initiative if you ask me, because most times people relegate their health. They don't know so much about their health. They just keep living without knowing. All right, good one. Okay, now I did ask earlier, as the Vice President Bogo, as a father, as one who is, up there, what advice would you have for people, for young people especially, so that they can also benefit from, the opportunities that will avail itself through the Umoenos administration, through the Arise agenda?
There are loads and loads of opportunities in Akwa Ibom. To be honest, I had an interaction with someone who is based in Lagos, but it's from here, and we were talking about the opportunities in Akwa Ibom. We went to a sit-out. Permit me to say this. We had, the person was looking for a fresh fish, pepper soup.
Oh.
And he was very specific of the type of fresh fish that he wants. Okay. And I had to call a few of my friends and say, we want this not from the pond, a fresh fish, from the river, possibly the ocean. And we went there. And when the person got there, looked at the environment and said, look, everywhere in Akwa Ibom, when you go, it's very clean, very tidy and all that. Why I'm bringing up this story is that at the end of the conversation, the person said, what opportunities are there in Akwa Ibom? I want to come back and invest. I'm going to tell my husband. Interestingly, the person is married to someone who is not from Akwa Ibom.
Okay.
Just she's going back to tell her husband to try and see if we can, So tell me what opportunities are. They said there are loads of opportunities. For me to come back from the UK, to look at the health sector and say, no, that's my area of specialty, let me key in. The governor is saying he's not going to be giving out free money. And I do not believe in that. It is not good. It's not the way to manage the state. Giving free money. You are creating a society where people are lazy, thinking that you can stop by and then give them cash. Then they go and drink and buy food, and then the next day, what happened? Some people say, no, teach me how to fish. Don't give me fish. Because when I finish eating the fish, what next? But if you teach me how to fish. So Omono is ready to teach us how to fish. He's asking, if you have any idea, please come to me. Don't ask for appointment. Yes, appointment will be there for those that, he will be appointed. But it's not about appointment. It's about being creative, being innovative, coming up with ideas in terms of what to do. So there are lots of opportunities. All you need to do, sit down, look around. He's an expert in tourism. What can you do in that area? It's not just about hotel. It's about looking at things that are not there. And then you create it. You bring it to the government. I know, as Omono, that he will listen, he will take on board and support you. So there are lots of opportunities. So for me, I do not want my people, the young people, to think of what the government will do for them in terms of dishing out cash. But in terms of sitting down to create an idea, create something, and bring to the government, and I know this government will support, will fund that project. And in the process, you will become a millionaire in the process. Because once you create jobs, you're making money, ideas rule the world. It's not about giving cash. When we are talking about Silicon Valley in America, it's about ideas. You go there are people looking for people with unique ideas. They will empower you. And I believe Omono will empower any young person that will come up with a very good idea. Don't ask for cash. Please ask for empowerment in a way of funding for you to bring to fruition your idea into manifestation.
Okay. All right. Now, during the campaigns, lots of diasporans, lots of Akwa Ibom people in the diaspora were here to campaign, to support, and all of that. Being someone who has lived in the diaspora, what opportunities, what openings are there for people in diaspora to come invest? What would you, if you were to address a platform of diasporans, what would you tell them?
I would say, if Jemima Essien, who worked, I went to the UK with a work permit. I did not go as a student. I went with a work permit and I worked and I was comfortable. I was ahead of my team and I really enjoyed my job. But if I could leave the comfort of the UK to come down, then there must be something special. That's number 1 point.
Okay.
I'm still the coordinator and the head of the Akwa Ibom community in Europe. We're planning to do an election because from all the indication I'm going to spend more time here. So for me, those in the diaspora should say, Jemima Essien, if he's back in Nigeria, there must be something. If he's back in Akwa Ibom, there must be something special. So I'm aware that the president of Akisan, Ichorikwan, and a few people from the US and from Europe were here to campaign for Omono. And I have personally taken it as a point of decision to go out and talk to our brothers and sisters in the diaspora to come back. Even if you don't want to come back, invest. Okay. There are so many areas. Is it about one of the challenges? I met a guy. I have a property somewhere, and then the number of people that came to look for a property. For me, the first thing. So that means that we don't have enough accommodation, houses in Uyo and Akwa Ibom for people. This small house, look at the number of people. So for the diaspora, so you can come in and invest in the real estate. Okay. Apart from setting up a small scale industry. For me, I feel at the moment, 7 million people. When you look at small countries, Finland, a few other European countries, which other countries? Slovakia, Slovenia, and all those small countries, 2 million, 3 million people. What they do, they produce what they eat. They produce everything. So when you have a population of 7 million people, why can't we produce enough tissue, enough, washing up liquid? I'm just looking at the smallest stuff. Our brothers and sisters in the diaspora are doing very well. So come to Akwa Ibom, look at the things that we need and produce them. They have the money. Bring it to Akwa Ibom, invest in Akwa Ibom, and let's develop this place. So I am one of the champions, the ambassadors of those people asking our brothers and sisters to come back home or invest in Akwa Ibom, because the enabling environment is there. The road network is the best. Mercy, let me mention this. I read somewhere, I was surprised that the best road network, I think the first 4 states in Nigeria with the best road network: Abuja first, Lagos next. Guess, Akwa Ibom is that. I was like, really? So one guy said, no, not Rivers. I said, no, it's Akwa Ibom. So when you look at all that, these are the basic things that you need in a society for business to thrive. Once the enabling environment is created, it means that business people, investors will come in. I think once the power sector problem is sorted, in Akwa Ibom we have the road network, a peaceful community, minimal crime. Not that we say don't have crime, but it's one of the most peaceful states, if not the most peaceful state in Nigeria. So once you have that, you have road network and power. You don't need to beg. I can tell you for free, Mercy, that there are loads and loads of people not our brothers and sisters, but non-indigens, both white and black. They have loads of money in their account looking for a way to invest. All they need is an enabling environment. I think the only thing that I need, maybe to talk about is the attitude of our people.
Okay. Because I was going to ask, some may say, okay, Mr. A or Mr. B invested in a viable business, and it's not, it's not working out. Some will say, okay, when I come invest and I'm not here, who's going to look out for that business for me? What recipe would you have for such people?
I think I totally agree with those people who have those concerns, and the some concerns are quite genuine. I've had my personal experience, and those experiences are not encouraging. I have to be very honest. I think one of the things that I did initially was to bring in cars and all that. Okay. And then, you bring in the cars, and at the end of the day, you don't get, you ask someone to help me to do that. At the end of the day, I do understand. And now I am here setting up this business. I'm seeing the attitude of even some of my staff, and they're not really very helpful. I think we need a very serious reorientation. We need a serious education to tell our people, please, we need to have the attitude where if somebody employs you, the person will have confidence and believe that you manage it well. When the person, has the attitude that, oh yeah, you're gonna, maybe run away with his money, you're not gonna manage it, so why should I bring my money? No. So I think we need a serious reorientation, the attitude of our young men, because we are used to getting things very easy. It is time to let people know that hard work, working hard and working smart is very important. So it's not about, I don't want to talk about my company because I think something happened recently. I don't want to mention that. I was like, you know what, maybe they don't really understand where I'm coming from. Because I am trying to educate them to understand where I'm coming from, that you have to work hard. you have to key into my orientation. So for my brothers and sisters, they should, in the diaspora, they should have this understanding that it takes a while. There are a few things that when I got to the UK the first time, there were a few things that shocked me. And I was like, why is this man behaving like this? Why is he asking me to do this? I did not understand, because I went from Nigeria with a mentality of how things are done. It was just a matter of time that I understood why things are done the way they are done. And maybe that's why that society is very successful. So I'm bringing that experience to my small business to tell my staff, please, this is how things are done. When you hear Abiodun Makara, do you ask how things are done there? I am bringing that to Akwa Ibom. I'm bringing it to you, and I'm trying to tell my small set of staff to say, please, this is how things are done, so that those businesses in the diaspora are successful. And I want to do that here. So it's going to take time. So if I do that with a set of maybe 10 staff, my brothers and sisters in the diaspora will come and create another set of 10 staff, 20 staff, 30 staff. With time, the thing will permeate into the society, and a larger population will understand that this is how things are done, and this is why things are working in other climes.
Okay, all right. We've talked much about the Arise agenda. Now, before we wrap up on the Arise agenda, how do you think Akwa Ibom people can support the Arise agenda to succeed?
Arise agenda is our own. I think the first thing is for us to claim the ownership. I think that's the most important thing. If you understand what Arise agenda is about, then you own it. When you own it and take it as your own project, because if it becomes your project, you work hard for it to succeed. For me, I've already adopted it as a person. What is it always about this Arise agenda? It's very simple. I don't want to go in. I don't really understand. Let me not claim that I teach. But all I know is that A stands for agriculture. R stands for rural development. We all come from rural development. I'm from you. But it's still a rural development. I mean, area. So, rural development. And what next? Infrastructure. Who doesn't want roads? Okay. Security, which is the next one. Who doesn't want security in his community? Economy. Who doesn't want to improve? So these are the basic things. So if you understand this, own it first. If you own it, and now this is what affects, it is my own thing, you will now identify with the government and work with the government for it to succeed. So for me, I've already keyed in, and I encourage Akwa Ibomite to please key in, take ownership of this agenda, knowing fully well that it will impact on your community positively, whether it's in agriculture, whether it's in rural development, whether it is in infrastructure development, whether it's in economy or security, it will impact on you. Let's accept it. Let's work on it. Let's make sure that it succeeds, because it is all, in our own interest.
Okay. All right. You are the president, or the vice president too, international vice president too of the Mbong Parawa IBBU. This is Centerpoint AM45, okay. And it is an initiative of the president, yes. The international president.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. That's right. So how is the Mbong faring?
Oh my God! You know what? I didn't come here in my capacity as.
I know.
It is true. I'm the international vice president of Mbong Parawa IBBU, working directly under the international president Akparawa James Edet, NPON. Yes, Mbong has been doing very well. Talking about Centerpoint, you just reminded. So he created this. This
is his initiative.
That man is very creative, very innovative. I am very happy to work under him. So this is about his administration. He has done very well. There are a few key areas that I can talk about.
Okay.
We came in, the 11 International Day School came in at the time that there were a few things that were not really right. I know there's always a positive.
You soon be a year old.
Yes, on the 24th of this month, we're going to be 1 year old.
That's right.
Within that first 1 year, allow me to kind of, I think James Edet has done very well. We have Mbogo Unity School in Idura, a complete transformation of the place. We came in, we had a population about 120 something students or people in the school. Today you're talking about 257. We came in, we inherited Saturday arrears of staff. I don't really want anybody to hear this. But we've cleared that arrears, living a few months, and we've paid everything. James Edet has made sure that the salary of staff paid up to date, including the arrears. The staff morale is very high, not just about the population of the school, the infrastructure, the renovation of the place. Even the secretariat of the company, go there, you see a marked difference. So James has done very well. I'm really impressed. I will call myself one of the luckiest guys in town to have been given the opportunity to work under James Edet. So Mbo is doing very well. We are supporting the government. At the end of the day, we are not anti-government. At the same time, we are not, how do you call it, a parastatal of government.
Okay.
We are not anti-government. We want a government. If you do well, we support you. We supported the government of, Mr. Odomimano, and then we are supporting Omono. So far, in Bon Barrio, we are very happy what Omono is doing, and we support the government of the day. But one thing about Mbo, we would tell you, when you're not doing well, we will. So far, Omono is doing well, so we have nothing to say against it. Okay. We're saying, well done, sir. But the day you did well, we will tell you. That's what Mbo is all about. So, Akbarawa James Edet is doing well. Mbo is doing very well. And the members are very happy. The people around are very happy. Our partners are very happy. Let me tell you this. During this administration of Akbarawa James Edet, the people in the diaspora, that's very important. That's the area what our people don't really understand. That if you do well, the people in the diaspora, you don't need to campaign. Let me tell you what has happened. Houston chapter in Texas, they came in being happy with the way Mbo is being born. They have built a multi-purpose, a 1,200 capacity hall in Mbo Unity School, state of the art. They are working on it at the moment. They've done everything. What is left now is just the finishing touches. Everything is done. Go to Mbo Unity School. From the diaspora, Houston chapter. Dallas, they have raised the money. I'm not going to mention the amount. It's mind-boggling. They have raised the money. They want to build a library, a modern library, ICT center in the school. Manchester chapter, this will interest you. Are you Ibibio's daughter? Good. Manchester chapter, they have taken Ibibio language stuff as their own project. They are building Ibibio Language Research Center in Mbogo Unity School. The money is ready. It's just for them to move to site. So when government talks about foreign direct investment, Mbogo is already leading. So to have Houston, Dallas, Manchester, even New York chapter, they've already raised funds to renovate one of the buildings. Thank God, I'm the chairman of the governing council of the school. So maybe that has made it very easy because they believe in me, they believe in James, and that's why they are bringing this fund to invest in the school. Please, Mercy, permit me to say this. Mbogo Unity Schools, nursery, primary, junior secondary, and secondary school is going to be the best school in Akwa Ibom in the next 2-3 years under the administration of James Edet. I'm not going to ask any father, any mother to bring his or her own child to the school. But all I'm asking, just go there and see what is happening. We don't need any advert. You bring your child there, where you're going to learn the best stuff in your language, French, and sciences. Already the students, they have formed their own old student association. You can't believe that.
Already.
So that already, their last end of year party was at MGM, and I was there. I was shocked. That shows how happy they are. That shows that the leadership under James Hedden of Mbogo Parabio is doing very well. So Mbogo is doing very well, and we are ready to support the government of Pastor Mono.
Okay, all right. Just before we wind down on this conversation, let me ask. There has been some crisis here and there here in the state, some boundary issues. I wouldn't want to delve into all of that, but what's the stance? What message does Mbogo have for Akwa Ibom communities in times like this?
This is a very important question because it borders on security. When you look at the agenda, the Arise agenda, security is there. And we know that as a result of this mapping, not remapping, mapping of Akwa Ibom State, we've got a few security challenges here and there. All I can say to our people is that the government of Udom Emmanuel did the right thing to do the mapping of Akwa Ibom State. There's no place that you go that you cannot really say this is official map of that area. So for me, Mbogo's position is clear as International Vice President that there is need for us to have the official map of Akwa Ibom State.
In terms of giving peace a chance?
Absolutely. Absolutely. In terms of giving, you recognize the fact that you cannot just operate where, this person will say, this is where the boundary of this village stops. Oh, this is where the boundary. No, it's not about your personal opinion. It's about the opinion of the government to say, look, taking into consideration the opinion of the people from that community, where is the boundary of this village, this community, this local government? And members of the State House of Assembly, they took a resolution, a law was passed, that there's need to have the mapping of Akwa Ibom State. And that decision has been taken. It is now a law. So if you go against it, you are going against a law. So for me, as a person, and Mbogo Parabio, what we are saying is that we support the government in terms of having the real map of Akwa Ibom State. And we are appealing to our brothers and sisters to please give peace a chance. Because it's only in a peaceful environment that you will have development. If there's no peace in that community, why should I come from wherever I am to invest in that community? We need unity. We need peace in Akwa Ibom State. So I'm appealing to my brothers and sisters, please, let's give peace a chance. If the members of Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly sat down and decided that this is the boundary of Akwa Ibom State, this is the map of Akwa Ibom State, please, let's just accept it. If you have any problem with that, there are channels. Just go through it peacefully, not through fighting, not through killing. There's no need for that. So I'm appealing to your brothers and sisters anyway to please give this government, especially that of Pastor Mono, who is ready to listen to everyone. If you have any problem, just use the channel, the peaceful channel. Ask the government, we're not happy with this. I'm sure Pastor Mono will be quite happy to listen, to review some of the stuff. But at the moment, a law has been passed. Let's go with it.
Okay, last words from the International Vice President of the Mbogo Parawa, Jemima, is saying, give peace a chance. Let's live in peace, let's live in unity, let's show love to one another. Thank you so very much for having been on Centerpoint AM for 5 this morning.
It's a pleasure.
Remember, I said it before, when you come across Barawa Jumaima, you ask him where the pharmacy is located so you can go check your vitals and all of that. Thank you so very much for that initiative.
You, really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
All right. That's it on this session of the program. We still have more for you on Centerpoint AM45. And that's right, we have the papers. We need to show you the front pages of the national dailies on the program this morning. Do stay with us.
I feel that